was just trapping that in the house. Now I got the dope in my stash spot. Whoa, pop out like boogeyman, I bring a mask out. Went on a mission, I left with his ass out. I'm a big stone to get lit till I pass out. I need my paper, I ain't moving till you cash out. No, I be
Yo, what's poppin' on the gang? Today we're gonna be reacting to Kevin Durant. Next mistake is going to haunt him. Go ahead, roll up, spark up, and let's get straight into it.
I want my career to end on my terms. That's the only thing. Bingo. That's the only thing.
Sources believe there will be real changes coming to Phoenix with this.
I think he's handled this very appropriately. It looks like Kevin Durant is back in the headlines, and it's for the same exact reasons we could expect him to be in the headlines once again. Kevin Durant's future with the Phoenix Suns seems anything but clear. So before we get to the content, make sure you check out our brand new baseball channel.
Yeah, it's crazy because they tried to trade him.
Giveaway winners for MLB The Show 25, and we're announcing multiple.
And recently he been playing like he don't even want to be there.
On that channel. Now that we get all that out of the way, do the intro.
Well, not even playing like that, but his mannerisms. It shows. He don't want to be there. Where is he gonna go?
Today's video is sponsored by Prize
I don't know.
A dominant run, making easy money on our NBA props that I give away on my Instagram at The Flight Mike and on my Patreon at Microphone. Make sure you use my promo code Microphone to get $50 when you make a play of $5 or more, or just click in the link in the description down below. Thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. Mike check 1212. What's going on, everybody? Kevin Durant is back in the headlines. And not only in regards to averaging a staggering 27 points per game at 36 years old, or even where he's going to be playing basketball next season after he finally gets traded away from the Phoenix Suns. And make no mistake about it, just because a trade for Kevin Durant didn't happen this time around during the trade deadline doesn't mean that it's not going to happen in the upcoming offseason.
Man.
If the sources are correct, then it's pretty much already a done deal.
And unless there's a major, what's looking like a miraculous run out of these Phoenix Suns into the playoffs, league sources believe there will be real changes coming to Phoenix with the Suns, and from a roster perspective, that will likely start with Kevin Durant.
But before I get to
That's
that,
crazy.
we all just took a breath
Because Bradley Beal got that no trade clause.
for a few moments and realized just how differently his journey has turned out than I think most of us originally envisioned. Because with all that's happened with him over the years, and whether the narratives that have been created about him are true or not, we need to remember that things weren't always like this for the star forward, who has already put himself in position to go down as literally one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But he's not considered to be a top 10 NBA player of all time. The truth is that it's been so long since his early days at this point that to even think that he was once part of the Oklahoma City Thunder doesn't even seem true anymore. It kind of seems like his days with Russell Westbrook and OKC are now just some forgotten dream that may never have even happened. But of course that's not true. We all know that not only did they lead their franchise to the finals, but they also spent several
He should have
years
just stayed in
in
OKC.
the league. I mean, come on. Just look at the way Kevin Durant looks at Russell Westbrook during his MVP speech.
I know you guys think I forgot Russ. I could speak all night about Russell. An emotional guy who will run through a wall for me. I don't take it for granted. I love you, man. I love you. I'm the first to have your back, man. Through it all.
And while I'm literally not here to bash him at all, part of me just still wishes that they would have stayed together so that
Man.
we could have at least seen that alternate
Exactly.
reality play out. But instead, as we all know, he made the softest decision in the history of pro sports when he went and signed with the Golden State Warriors. And this is literally when everything started to change with him, because as soon as CJ McCollum called him out, Kevin Durant fired back, as he always feels compelled to do so for some reason. And also even went as far as to state that he thought the Warriors were underdogs at the time he joined them, which is an absurd thing to say considering that this is a team that won 73 regular season games. Now, if the stage set after that, it just seems like Kevin Durant was never fully able to recover from all the punishment he began receiving almost daily in the media from examples such as this.
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest.
He already had something to say.
Plain and simple. That's just how I
My dog, okay, he gonna speak his mind.
Playing for several other teams, with more soon to come. It got so bad that he's now been called everything from a selfish coach killer to an egotistical narcissist to simply being labeled as one of the softest and most sensitive players in the entire league. But again, whether these things are actually true or not is kind of beside the point. What does matter is that there is always something new with him that seems to come up. Whether it's his recent incident with his current head coach Mike Budenholzer in the Suns' 2-point victory against the Clippers, or even his face-to-face exchange with Desmond Bane after Durant was caught trying to trip Cam Spencer after he had a 3 drilled in his face.
Hey, KD be tweaking, man.
Fan for calling him an obscenity. Obviously, I'm not condoning fans being out of line, but sometimes he could just benefit so much from letting stupid things like this go. The fact is that he simply just hasn't been an easy guy to get along with for quite some time. But the thing is, and this is probably the most important part of it all, is that he's so good at the game of basketball that nobody gives a crap about any of this as long as he will come play for their team and put people in seats. Which means that even with all the recent rumors there have been, as well as more coming in each and every day about the end of his time with Phoenix being just around the corner, there already seems to be a line of suitors waiting at the docks to pick him up. And if you ask Brian Windhorst about what's going to happen, he has 0 questions about how this whole thing is going to play out.
Corey, what happens with the Suns this summer, Wendy? Yeah, well, they're going to trade him, and he knows that. There's been a couple opportunities where he could have criticized them for trying to trade him. He has not done that. I expect that to continue throughout the rest of the regular season. And then in the offseason, he sort of gave himself a little ad there. I think he's handled this very appropriately. I know that the Warriors...
Kevin Durant is gone.
He said, I want to be there. The Warriors are doing great, too. AD is setting himself up for his last act.
If it all goes down like that, which kind of just seems completely inevitable, and with Golden State out of the way, we all have to wonder where Kevin Durant is going to go in what could turn out to be one of the final 2 or 3 teams he ever plays for. I'm just teasing. Wherever Kevin Durant does go is probably going to be his final team of his career. With that being said, who exactly are the teams that would not only be interested, but also ones that he would like to go to? And I can't stress enough that the latter part of that is probably going to be the biggest factor of all. Because in a recent interview Durant gave to Draymond Green and Baron Davis, he broke it all down for himself.
What's your career to end in Phoenix? Man, I want my career to end on my terms. That's the only thing.
Bingo.
That's the only thing I'm worried about. You know what I'm saying?
That's all that matters.
Because I see a lot of crews that don't get that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So I want to keep putting in that work to, make that choice on my own.
That's his way of saying nicely that it's not going to end in Phoenix. So if it does happen, and he is to get his wish to likely join a contending team for one final shot at being of a championship roster, then he is going to have several options for teams in win now mode. To start off with a bang, because, well, I'm me, and that's just what I do, the first team I have to mention is the most polarizing of all. It's also the same team that just succeeded in pulling off the heist of the century. Rumor has it that my Los Angeles Lakers of all teams are actually
my Los Angeles Lakers
in what will be the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. In order to do so, though, they would have to give up some of their most valuable trade assets. Amongst those that would potentially have to go, or maybe even all of them together, as posed by Eddie Bitar of the fadeaway world, would be Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, Dalton Connect, Maxi Kleba, as well as a package of picks on top of that. It may sound crazy for a team debatably playing like an actual contender right now, but to create potentially the single most talented big 3 of all time, it could be worth a shot.
That's crazy. I don't know about my dog AR.
Don't work. How would this Lakers big 3 be any different from what the Phoenix Suns big 3 would look like? On top of that, I don't think the Lakers have any more issues offensively. And trading Jared Vanderbilt, one of their best defensive players, Austin Reeves, one of their 3 main ball handlers on a good contract, Dalton Connect, one of their young rookies, and Maxi Kleba, who hasn't really played much for the Lakers yet, but is a solid stretch big, in addition to their remaining assets for a 37-year-old Kevin Durant who's on a max contract, who could leave after one season, just seems very foolish. I mean, sure, LeBron James could opt out of his player option, take less money, so the Lakers could have additional cap space to sign free agents, but I personally don't feel so confident in this iteration of the Lakers. It would be insane to see 2 of the greatest players of an entire generation go out together for one of the 2 most storied franchises of all time, but if for whatever reason the Lakers jersey doesn't end up being the one that Kevin Durant ends up wearing, there's still another team he could go to that would give him a chance to compete for a 3rd title. The Dallas Mavericks remain a legitimate option. They could provide Kevin Durant with the opportunity to play alongside 2 fellow future Hall of Famers that both also happen to be Nike athletes. And though they may not be quite the caliber of players that Luka and LeBron James are, I don't think anybody can disagree that if
that'd be a scary sight.
Nico Harrison did decide to pair Kevin Durant with Kyrie Irving and Anthony Data Davis that if they could remain healthy, he would be creating a team with a ceiling among the highest in the league. Yet if those two teams decide not to pursue the aging star, then there are still some other serious options, one of which could potentially be more shocking than any of the others, including the Lakers. With Victor Wembanyama's serious health diagnosis having sidelined him for the rest of the season, a lot of people were originally questioning if he would ever play again. But with recent reports coming out saying that his career is actually not in jeopardy, it seems like the Spurs have begun to seriously consider bringing in Kevin Durant next season. If it were to happen, we would all have to put the Spurs at or near
that would be,
top of the list for
I don't know, that would be crazy.
Going into the 2025
Wemby, Chris
season. One
Paul.
final team amongst the others that I want to mention
They got
is one of
De'Aaron
the NBA's
Fox.
most surprising teams this season. And that's the number 5 ranked Houston Rockets.
But they'll probably have to get rid of Chris Paul.
That are likely to make a push for him, with one of the most talented cores of young players in the league, as well as a solid defense. All the Rockets are really missing right now is a lead scorer. Bringing in Kevin Durant would fill that hole immediately. What I want to mention about this specific destination also is that I personally think it would be a great move for Durant to end his career. Maybe what he needs is to not be around other perennial superstars. Maybe if he had the opportunity to take the top role while simultaneously being a mentor for the up-and-coming Rockets. Maybe this would allow him to wipe some of these stains off of his name while still continuing to both individually
Going to the Rockets. I don't see him playing for the Rockets.
With these other options said, I still just can't help but consider that the Lakers and Mavs would be the most exciting place for him to end up for NBA fans everywhere. After all, they are kind of competing with each other to see which of them first captures the title before the other. Ever since Nico Harrison traded away one of the greatest offensive talents to ever grace the court, it could turn out that whichever of those two
we're going all the way this year.
he would potentially get them there first. Though he would surely
LA in 5.
criticism as ever before while he
I'm pushing
My
it.
big issue with Kevin Durant's current situation is it seems like he's in a revolving cycle of his career. Ever since leaving the Golden State Warriors, he signed with the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets had him and Kyrie Irving, and they had tremendous
Yeah, people
depth
gonna
behind
always
them.
say
For some reason,
he
wanted
needed
the
Steph
Nets
Curry.
to sign DeAndre Jordan. Despite them having Jarrett Allen, they played DeAndre Jordan more minutes than Jarrett Allen. But on top of that, they had great depth in the form of Spencer Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, and Taurean Prince. And then they decided to gut out all that depth and trade it for James Harden, which in the sample size that they played together, they were incredible. But obviously due to injuries and mismanagement of James Harden in general, the Nets were never able to fulfill their potential. Kevin Durant once again gets traded to another team with a tremendous amount of depth. They have Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton himself, they have a proven head coach in Monty Williams, and in one offseason, they got out their entire team to trade for Bradley Beal, which is a piece
It's
that
the
just
same
didn't make
things
any
every
sense.
single
Another
time.
once contending, promising team that's got out their entire roster to build a super team around Kevin Durant, that simply didn't work. And I guess my question here is, what's going to be different this time around? If he goes to the Dallas Mavericks, or in the unlikely scenario that he does go to the Los Angeles Lakers? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.
Alright, once again, let me know or who you think Kevin Durant is going to sign with down below in the comments.
I was just trapping that during the house. Now I got the dope, my stash spot. Whoa, poppin' like Boogie Man, I bring a mask out. Went on a mission, I left with his ass out. I'm a big stone to get lit till I pass out.